السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، باب من عال ثلاث أخوات. عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: لا يكون لأحد ثلاث بنات أو ثلاث أخوات فيحسن إليهن إلا دخل الجنة. So continuing with the book of Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, Al-Adab Al Mufrad, we are today on chapter number 42, and this chapter is regarding taking care of three sisters. Man ala thalatha akhawatin, whoever will take care of three sisters. Sometimes it happens that the father passes away and leaves behind many children, and the responsibility of the siblings comes upon the elder brother. He has to take care of his sisters. So this chapter is regarding that brother who is taking care of his three sisters. Whichever the situation may be, it may be that the father passed away, left the children behind. Now the brother has to take care of the sisters. Or it could be the father is elderly, father is not wealthy, and the brother is wealthy, so he has to take care of his sisters. So anytime a brother has to take care of his three sisters, the virtue, the fadila for that person, that brother, is mentioned in this hadith. Abu Sa'id Khudri radiallahu anhu says that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have said that لا يكون لأحد ثلاث بنات. Anyone that has three daughters, أو ثلاث أخوات, or three sisters. This virtue is for both of those. That father who has three daughters and that brother who has three sisters. فَيُحْسِنُ إِلَيْهِنَّ. And he is good to them, to the daughters or the sisters, he is good to them. إِلَّا دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةِ. He will surely enter Jannah. And this is amazing. This is a great virtue. And a lot of times people will think that taking care of their daughters or taking care of their sisters is a burden. He doesn't feel like doing it. But in fact, this is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that brother or on that father, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him another method of entry in Jannah. He has this way, this path, this method of entry in Jannah that no one else has. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed this person, this brother with three sisters, or the father with three daughters, and this will get him another way of entry in Jannah. So this is, and of course, Dakhal al-Jannah, entry in Jannah, is the greatest reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we can get. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guaranteeing Jannah for someone, this is the maximum where our hard work goes towards, that everyone, whatever he does, his ultimate purpose is entry in Jannah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this person that highest level of reward of entry in Jannah when a person takes care of his three daughters or he takes care of his three sisters. So once again, this should not be considered a burden or something difficult. In fact, it should be something that we should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to do this and giving us the ability, giving us the three daughters or three sisters that is getting us, they're getting us into Jannah, inshallah. And then the next chapter here is Babun Fadlu Man Ala Ibnatahu Al-Marduda. The virtue for that person who takes care of his daughter that has come back to him. What does it mean by a daughter coming back to him? Means that either it could be that after the daughter was married, the husband had passed away, the son-in-law has passed away, and the daughter returns back to the parents' house. Or, may Allah protect, the daughter is divorced and comes back to the parents' house. So anytime the daughter is returned back or comes back to the parents' house, in that case, the parents taking care of that daughter, there is a different virtue for that person, that father. And we already learned in the past, those ahadith, that when the parents take care of their daughters, Those virtues we already studied those. Now this is specifically about that daughter who came back to the parents' house, either because the son-in-law had passed away, or the son-in-law divorced the daughter and the daughter comes back to the parents' house. What is the virtue for this? أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لسراقة بن جعشم رضي الله عنه ألا أدلك على أعظم الصدقة أو قال من أعظم الصدقة قال بلى يا رسول الله قال ابنتك مردودة إليك ليس لها كاسب غيرك. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to Suraqah bin Jush'um radiyallahu anhu, and this Suraqah bin Ju'shum bin Malik radiyallahu anhu, a great Sahabi, a very famous Sahabi. He's that Sahabi that when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was doing the Hijrah, he left Makkah Mukarramah going to Medina Munawwara, and we all know Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was hiding in the cave in Ghar al-Thawr for 3 days. After he left the Ghar al-Thawr and he was on the way to Medina doing his Hijrah, he was hiding secretly, he was traveling, and there was a prize set by the kuffar of Quraysh that whoever will find Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will get 100 camels as a prize. And everyone is out looking for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to get that prize. Suraqah bin Malik radiallahu anhu, is mentioned about him that he says, later on after he became Muslim, he mentions that I heard from someone that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is traveling on that certain direction. So he says, I quickly got on my horse and went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to catch him, to capture him, and to bring him to kuffar of Quraysh so I can get that prize. He says, when I got close to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam looked back. When he saw me, he made dua against me. And then it says, because of that dua Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made, the feet of my horse sunk into the ground, and it was the horse was not able to walk anymore. And then he says that I called, Ya Rasulullah, make dua for me, I won't do any harm to you. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then made dua for him, and his horse, the feet of his horse came back out, and he was able to walk. And then Shaitan, of course, came again to Suraqah, and he broke his promise, and he again went towards Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to catch him. Then again Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua for the second time, and Suraqah's horse, the feet of his horse, again sunk in the ground. And this happened 3 times. The third time, Suraqah realized that this is a true prophet. He is making dua against me, and I'm not going to be able to catch him. So then Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam then for the third time made dua for Suraqah, and the feet of his horse came back out of the sand, and the horse was able to walk. At that time, one of the mu'jizas that took place was that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at that situation, when he's hiding from the kuffar, when he does not have anything of his own, he does not even have a place to go right now. He's in the middle of his journey. He's kicked out from his own city of Mecca. He does not have anything. And at that time, he tells Suraqah, Ya Suraqah, that remember that time when the jewelry, the bracelets of the king of Persia, whose name was Kisra, the king of Persia, the Kisra's jewelry, his bracelets will be in your hands. The golden jewelry, it will be in your hands. Remember that time. And that's all he said to Suraqah radiallahu anhu at that time. And at this time, Suraqah is not even a Muslim. Later on, years pass by, Suraqah becomes Muslim, and he's amongst the Sahaba now. And Prophet ﷺ passed away. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu became Khalifa, he passed away. During the Khilafah of Umar radiallahu anhu, the Persia was conquered, and all the jewelry and all the spoils of war, everything was brought to Medina Munawwara to Umar radiallahu anhu. He looked at all the different things, and he saw those bracelets of Kisra in the Mal Ghanima, and then he called Suraqah. He sent someone go call Suraqah, and when Suraqah came, Umar radiallahu anhu remembered that saying of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he took those bracelets and he puts them in the hands of Suraqah, and he says, remember that time Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told you that you will have the bracelets in your hand? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's mu'jiza was Suraqah years later. At this time, Suraqa is not even a Muslim. At this time, even Medina and Saudi Arabia was not even safe for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imagine he is giving glad tidings that even Persia will be conquered and their wealth will be distributed amongst the Muslims. So anyway, Suraqa radiallahu anhu is the one narrating this hadith. He says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to me, ألا أدلك على أعظم الصدقة أو قال من أعظم الصدقة, that, O Suraqa, should I not inform you of the greatest sadaqah? Or the narrator mentions that Prophet ﷺ's wordings were min a'zam sadaqah. Should I not inform you one of the greatest sadaqah? So as we know, sadaqahs are different ways. A person can feed a poor person, this is sadaqah. A person helping someone is sadaqah. A person, different ways a person can do sadaqah. But what is the best and the greatest sadaqah? Should I not inform you of the greatest sadaqah? قال بلى. Suraqa says, I said, of course, Ya Rasulullah. Bala Ya Rasulullah. For sure. Tell me, Ya Rasulullah. قال ابنتك مردودة إليك ليس لها كاسب غيرك. The greatest sadaqah that you can do is that sadaqah that you will do on your daughter who came back to your house. The spending on your daughter who came back to your house. She does not have anyone else to support her besides you. So this is أعظم الصدقة. The greatest sadaqah that a person can do is taking care of your own daughter who comes back and who comes back after getting married and comes to stay with the parents. So ابنتك مردودة إليك, the daughter that came back to your house and she does not have anyone to support her, to take care of her needs besides you. So in this case, the father, the parents taking care of their daughter is the greatest sadaqah. One of the reasons the scholars mentioned that why this is considered the greatest sadaqah, why there's so much reward in taking care of this daughter, is because a lot of times the parents, or sometimes the parents, will feel after they got their daughters married that we are free from the responsibility. Our responsibility is done. We took care of our daughter until they got married, and we handed our daughter over. Now we are free from the responsibility. So this mentality that we have, that we are free from responsibility, when the daughter comes back in any case, it feels a burden. It feels difficult. So Rasulullah ﷺ telling us that no, don't feel as a burden, don't take it as a difficult task. This is the greatest sadaqah that you can do. So this was the reward and the virtue for taking care of one's daughter after she comes back to the parents' house. And there's another hadith also that mentions another virtue. عن المقدام بن معدي كرب رضي الله عنه أنه سمع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول ما أطعمت نفسك فهو لك صدقة وما أطعمت ولدك فهو لك صدقة وما أطعمت زوجك فهو لك صدقة وما أطعمت خادمك فهو لك صدقة. Miqdam bin Ma'di Karab radiallahu anhu says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam have said, whatever you feed yourself, this will be a sadaqah for you. Whatever we feed ourselves, whatever we eat, not giving food to a poor person, that's not the only sadaqah. Giving food to ourselves and eating ourselves, this is also sadaqah. But of course, we have to remember at this very point that this becomes sadaqah when we eat with the correct intention, following the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, eating halal, and eating because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered us to take care of our body and our health. So keeping this in mind, when a person is fulfilling the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's taking care of this amana, this body that Allah has given us. We're taking care of this, and we're following this command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we are obeying an order of Allah, this is a rewarding thing. This is sadaqah. So ma at'amta nafsak fahuwa laka sadaqah. So we should not always think that, oh, you know what, giving it to someone, no need, I can eat it myself, I can use it this is also sadaqah. Yes, this is right, but this is not the only sadaqah. So whatever we eat, whatever we feed ourselves, this is sadaqah. And like I said, with the correct intention. Not to fulfill our desire, not to enjoy the food, not to just have fun and we feel like eating. No, eating because we are fulfilling the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having that in mind that we are obeying the order of Allah. This will become a reward for us, will become a sadaqah for us. And number two, وَمَا أَطْعَمْتَ وَلَدَكَ فَهُوَ لَكَ صَدَقَةٌ. Whatever you feed your children, that is also sadaqah for you. Though this is our responsibility, taking care of the needs of our children, giving them food, giving them clothes, and taking care of their needs. This is our responsibility as parents. But this is when a person does it with this in mind that I'm fulfilling the orders of Allah also, it becomes a source of reward for this person. So this is also sadaqah. And number three, وَمَا أَطْعَمْتَ زَوْجَكَ فَهُوَ لَكَ صَدَقَةٌ. Whatever you feed your wife, this is also sadaqah. Again, these are all something that we have to do anyways. We have to do them. We don't have a choice. This is responsibility. This is a haqq. This is fard upon us. But when we do it with the correct intention, then more than the responsibility, it becomes a sadaqah for us. It will become a source of ajr and reward for us. And number four, وَمَا أَطْعَمْتَ خَادِمَكَ فَهُوَ لَكَ صَدَقَةٌ. And whatever you feed your servants, this will also be a sadaqah for you. And then the next chapter, باب من كره أن يتمنى موت البنات. And again, very similar to the previous chapter. And this chapter is من كره أن يتمنى موت البنات, that a person wishing the death of his daughters, this is disliked. This is something that is not correct. Wishing the death of your own daughters, because a lot of times it might happen that the parents are struggling with their own livelihood, with their own food, and they don't have enough to support and take care of themselves. And then if they have children, if they have daughters, they feel that this is being a burden on us. We don't want them. And so wishing the death of the daughters, this is something that is disliked. This is something that is not good in our Sharia. So there's a hadith here عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنه أن رجلا كان عنده وله بنات فتمنى موتهن. That Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu says that is mentioned about him that there was a person sitting near him, sitting next to Abdullah bin Umar, and this person had some daughters. فَتَمَنَّى مَوْتَهُنْ. So this person was wishing the death of his daughters. He was probably complaining to Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu how he does not have the wealth, how he does not have the money to take care of his daughters. And so he's wishing that I hope they die so I don't have to take care of them. So he probably says something. So فَتَمَنَّى مَوْتَهُنْ. So this person was wishing the death of his daughters. فَغَضِبَ ابن عمر رضي الله عنه فقال أنت ترزقهن. So Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu got upset. He got angry. And he said, are you the one taking care of him? Are you the one feeding them? أنت ترزقهن. Are you the one feeding them? So the point here was they were making that even if a person is struggling, even if a person does not have the money, does not have the food to take care of his children, even in that case, wishing the death is still disliked. There's no room for this in our deen, that a person would wish the death for his own daughters, whichever situation he might be in. The most difficult situation, a person is not allowed to wish or make dua for the death of their own daughters. And then Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu asked this person the question, أنت ترزقهن. Are you the one feeding them? Teaching him the lesson that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who takes care of everyone's food. And there's an ayah in Quran, إن الله هو الرزاق ذو القوة المتين. Allah is the one who gives the rizq and the food to everyone. So Allah only uses the parents and us as a means of giving whatever we give, but the real person behind, or the one who is actually giving, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are just being used, and this is again a favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He uses us so that we can also get our share and our reward from it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is actually giving the rizq and the sustenance to everyone. And there's a famous hadith, we probably all heard of it, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that many times because of the weak ones in the family, the children, the weak ones, the elderly people, the females, the sisters, because of the weak ones, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives barakah in the house. So whatever we're earning, we might think that is our hard work, but it's actually the barakah of the children that we are taking care of. Though they're not doing anything, but because of those children in our homes, the weak people in our homes, through their barakah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us whatever we have. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to understand these ahadith and practice upon them. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.